Shiba Inu adding a zero. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here today. Shiba Inu adding another zero. Are we going back to the 5-0 level of Shiba Inu price? We're going to dive into that today. We're going to take a look at the charts. We're going to look at the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour charts today for Shiba Inu. We're also going to dive into the news. We're also going to be looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. We're going to check on everything that's going on with those and, of course, the entire crypto market as a whole. Today was a big day. FOMC happened. We did have the federal rate got announced today. They are doing a 0.75 basis hike. We'll talk about that. And we also did hear Jerome Powell's speech today. He was extremely hawkish. He said specifically, we are not going to stop this effort until inflation is back at 2%. And we're freaking far from 2%. So we're going to look at that today as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Ryan Huggins, and I'm a crypto and real estate investor here in Southern California. And my job is to help be your crypto shortcut, because if you're like most people, you probably don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day reading through articles, going through headlines, watching YouTube videos, staring at the charts all day. But that is what I do, and that's what we do here at this channel, and we bring that information to you in a condensed manner. So if you are looking for a crypto shortcut, smash that subscribe button. We'd be glad to have you join us. We're also doing a free $100 if this video gets 5,000 likes. 5,000 likes on this video, I'll throw an additional $100 to one of the lucky comments down below. All right, so here we are, another bloody day. We actually had a surge back up to our hold level there, that quad 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, tapped off of that and then decided to do its pullback. Like I said, we will dive into Ethereum also coming down and tapping our supply and demand zone. And then we will also be covering Bitcoin, which is inside of our zone, but it did not reach the bottom of it. So there's tons more to the downside there. And of course, we will also jump into the XRP charts. It hit right up off the top of that 7-0 line that we were talking about, and it has rejected right exactly off of that line. So it wicked into our supply and demand zone, but the body unfortunately rejected, and now it is back into this weekly supply and demand zone. We'll jump into all of that today as well. So glad to have you guys here. Here we are, daily charts, Shiba Inu. Unfortunately, we did have quite the dramatic day today, actually. So early in the day, we had a little bit of a rally, and then the end of the day, it ended up selling off pretty significantly. So you can see here, we have these crazy stuff going. So Jerome Powell's meeting was at 11 o'clock Pacific time, which was right here. It had this little run up to the upside, and then it had a crazy pull down, and then it ran all the way up, and then the actual sell-off started here. We do have currently on the Shiba Inu hourly charts, this is an indicator that I've been using. It's called the automatic harmonic, and it gave us a sell signal when it was up here off of this candle, and it has been dropping there. Target number 4 is down here, just at our other supply and demand level here. So we'll jump into that stuff in this video as well, but just wanted to show you that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hours we've been dropping. We're in the 4th hour now. And then also, speaking of hours, we do currently have 1 hour 12 minutes left in this daily candle. So just giving you guys a heads up on that. You are going to be watching this in the future, so this daily candle will be over and the new candle will have started. Will we have some sort of rally, some relief from this pain? We will double check on that as well. So let's dive right in. First and foremost, let's go ahead and clear everything off of our charts because we don't need anything on there. We're going to start fresh, start new, and let's go ahead. We'll jump to the weekly chart. We're going to jump straight into the Fibonacci candles, and this will help us get our supply and demand zone. So as we can see here, the last red candle here before this weekly up move was this candle. So that is going to be our weekly supply and demand candle. We'll go ahead and box that off there. And then weekly we do in white. Now, as you can see, we did penetrate into that today. So if we look on the daily level now and on the Japanese candlesticks, you can see we've been in there now for a couple of days. It actually ran to the top, exactly the top of our weekly supply and demand box, rejected off of there today and started moving to the downside. So now that we know we're in the weekly supply and demand box, that is going to be invalid. We don't need that anymore. What we can do is we'll draw a line here, since we know that this works as a resistance for us now, right at the tip of this, right? So that's going to be our short-term resistance level. Let's keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and go to settings here, text, short-term resistance, and plug that in there. All right, so we have that as a note. Now, to the downside, we need a little bit more information as well. So let's go to the daily now, and let's look at the supply and demand zones based on the daily rather than the weekly. So this one here is, so this candle right here, it's inside of that. So let's test it. Did it break to the bottom side? No, it did not break all the way through it. Well, actually, yes. So with the candle, it has officially broken outside to the bottom of that. It looks like it's trying to retreat back in there. We look at the 15-minute charts. It broke through. It's trying to challenge it. So we'll know here soon if that is a potential situation there. So that may be a new resistance. So we had this as our short-term resistance. This may be turning into our resistance instead. All right, so now below that, we need to dig deeper. So where else could we be going on the drop zones here? So this, we turn our dailies to yellow, and there we go. Our next daily drop zone is here. Boom. So now we can get rid of this one, because we don't really need that because we're in it with this one here. And we also have one below it, which is this one here. And as you can see, that's the one that is in play right now. So now we'll switch back over. So you can see this is our daily supply and demand box. It's hit it before just recently, back on September 18th. And now obviously today, it got right into that box. When it hit there though, the bulls did step in for this little tiny bit of time frame here, this 15-minute time frame. The bulls are trying to do something here. Let's go ahead and pull up the RSI, see if there's any luck that this could be a potential move to the upside. Well, even here on the 15-minute chart, there is still more room to the downside. Maybe we get a bounce up to the market baseline here. But if we look at the daily, what we've been talking about is definitely the potential of this price to continue to fall down into the 30 level down here on the RSI, getting itself into the oversold territory. Okay, so we know that that's our indicator there for our current resistance or support, right? So that's our current level of support. That's also kind of the last hold on spot. If it drops below there, it very likely could continue its melting down to the next level of the daily supply and demand zone to the downside. And this is it right here, 50835, 50835. And then the bottom of that level is 50739. So that is some downside targets for Shiba Inu. Now, what we do also want to take a look at here is the upside. So if we take a look at this one, this is our last green candle before this down move. So if we do get a nice rally, a rebound here, it breaks above this level here of quad 01113, and then we keep on moving up, we can get to quad 01250. The markets seem to be in turmoil. Everything's trying to sell off. Stocks are selling. I mean, look at everything over here is red. Literally everything is down. There's some stocks in here, some indices in here, all kinds of stuff going on, except for the dollar. And if you guys have been following along, we've been tracking this a lot. The dollar is absolutely boosting to the moon right now, up to 111. We've been following this for so long. I remember we were cautious about, oh no, I hope it doesn't break $105. And then sure enough, it did and became support, and it's continued its crash. We also had some optimism that we might be coming back down to here. Unfortunately, it did not do that. But here we are on the weekly charts, and I do want to show you something that I am optimistic about. If we take the top of this candle to the top of this candle right here, we see our trend is extremely strong to the upside. Okay, so that is important to note, because if we look down here at the RSI, there is, and this has been happening now because we already had one from here to here. There was a bearish divergence. Now from here to here, there's a bearish divergence. And from point A to point C, there is a bearish divergence. So let's look at divergence for mini indicators and see if it is popping out to us. So the last signal that they gave us was down here for a bearish signal, has not re-signaled yet. We also have not closed this candle. We have 2 days, 1 hour left in that candle. So as the dollar goes, cryptos go the opposite, right? So if the dollar is pumping, Bitcoin is dropping, and along with that, all of the other altcoins, as we see right now, Shiba Inu dumping hard today, Ethereum dumping hard today. So let's take a look at Ethereum. We already have these charted out pretty good. So let's jump to the daily here. And as we can see, we did actually have a very bullish indicator come through. It was not the RSI bullish divergence, but it was the histogram, the stochastic, the momentum, on balance volume, and the money flow indicator all stated that we should be moving to the upside. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and we're still continuing to drop. It did come exactly to our spot that we talked about for the last couple of days here at $1,220, where it did act as a support. Let's check this on the small time frame here, 15 minutes. It is trying to rally. The RSI is starting to pump to the upside too, so we could have a short-term rally on Ethereum, maybe getting back up to test this level up here of this 1289. The other thing I want to look at, let's look at the 4-hour chart. Oh yeah, so look, there's a lot of move to the upside here, because if we look at fair value gaps, all right, so to the upside, we have, once this candle closes, it's going to give us all of this here as a fair value gap. You can see it already went and filled most of this one. There's still one here as well. But this wick on the previous 4-hour moved up hard, filled all of that, and then it decided to take the dump to the downside. And we do also have our fair value gaps way up here, but there's a couple that it may want to attack to the downside as well. So you can see those very clearly. So if it breaks through this level here and continues its move to the downside, as we talked about the other day, we have 1,120 as our daily supply and demand support level, which will pop here, go here. And again, this is our daily candle. It likely, and we talked about this too, because there's not much chop in between here on the dailies. It was just a nice move to the upside. We are seeing a similar move to the downside now. The other thing that we can talk about here is our Fibonacci. We go from here to the top. You can see price is coming now into that 7.0 level that we just talked about. There is a further drop at that 7.86 level, and that does get us to the daily supply and demand zone. And then we may see a return to the upside. So right now it's at a point, it's in the golden pocket now. So Ethereum's in the golden pocket. We could see a return to the upside. Take a look at Shiba Inu's as well from here up to here. It's also in the golden pocket. So are we just making new higher lows? Because we had our lows here and this would be higher lows. That's a good question. We'll continue to monitor that as well. Now, conversely, for Ethereum, if it starts to make a rebound here, hello. If it starts to make a rebound here, we have these levels here, and this is the level that's the most important, getting back to this 1,473, reclaiming that as a support. Right now, it's been a resistance. We want to reclaim that as a support. We can make our move to the next level. And then we can start to see some exciting stuff here on the daily. So these are 4-hour supply and demand zones. Let's take a look at what our daily level gets us to. All the way up into 1693. So we could be returning there, right? And then up here, that 1906. So those are some levels to watch. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just going through the charts. We're using the tools that's provided here on TradingView, looking at some supply and demand levels, which is where price does tend to go. And that's what we have right now. So price came down, tapped right off of our 4-hour supply and demand zone. It's retracing a bit, but it is running into this other 4-hour supply and demand zone area right here. So we'll see if it traces all the way back up. If not, it could continue its way to the actual daily one. Okay, so let's jump over to Bitcoin now. Okay, so Bitcoin's FOMC candle had an extreme drop. Bam, tapped right exactly on our 4-hour supply and demand level here. ran back up to the upside, and then it just continued its melt to the downside. So right now we are in our 4-hour supply and demand level. Coming to the bottom of that level does get us here to 17,934. And then we have some other levels marked here as more downside. The next level, well, the 17,934. After that, 17,580. And then after that, getting into the 16,000 levels there. When we do this, Fibonacci also on this right now on Bitcoin, from its recent low to its recent high, we have surpassed the golden zone. So that is not positive. That is a very bearish indicator. Let's go ahead and also turn on our moving averages here with market cipher A. And we do have two yellow X's. Typically we get 4 yellow X's, market manipulation X's before a pump to the upside. So there is likely more downside there. That's on the weekly. We take a look here on the daily charts. The 21 has crossed back over the 50, and they are starting to slope down. In fact, today's rally to the upside got to our 21 exponential moving average as well, rejected off of that level there. All right, so we're about to jump over to the news here in just a couple minutes, but some levels that we're talking about here. So we just talked about the downside levels. If we get a nice bounce and a rally to the upside, we're looking to reclaim 20,336. That's where we need to reclaim that as a support so we can make the move up, because that also breaks us back above the 21 exponential. After that, we could see a rally up into that 22,188. And then all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. We follow along on these cryptos every single day. If you would like to stick along with us on this journey, click the subscribe button, come back tomorrow, and you'll see where we're at on the levels. Going to XRP now. XRP, we covered this briefly in the very beginning. XRP price did run up to the 786. And let's go ahead and go here to the weekly chart. So what we're looking for with XRP is we're looking for this to break above this 21 exponential moving average. That's where it ran up to. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, we ran really hard to the upside. We needed to claim this 41 cent level as a support. Unfortunately, it rejected. So let's look at the 1 hour here. So it climbed up, boom, it got to the level here, 41 cents, rejected off. Now this was on the 20th, started dancing around it, tried to reclaim it a second time today, rejected again, and we got a blood diamond on the indicator. So what I'm looking for here, as you can see right now, it's using this weekly supply and demand level that it's in right here. It's trying to battle back out, claim it as a support again, because it's been resistance, resistance, fake little support before it broke, resistance, resistance. It broke good, support, support, support. Right now we're back below it. Our moving averages are also going to be a big important sign, because if this 21 exponential crosses over the 50 bearish, we could see a continued drop. Also the RSI, the market baseline is sloping down, and the price of the RSI is below the 50. We could potentially see a move down into the oversold territory. Now, long term though, to the upside, we're looking at, so let's go to the Fibonacci candles, and we're looking at this level right here. So this is our weekly zone, the white level here, but this is our daily zone, which is a very, very realistic number for the daily. If this breaks, finds support and starts to rally, we get up to that 57, 58 cent level for XRP. All right, and before we jump over to the news articles, this is what was important today. We jump over to the calendar over here on TradingView. We'll scroll back in history because obviously it already passed. Today, lots of information came out. The existing home sales, it was projected at 4.7. It actually came in at 4.8. So that's positive. Crude oil, stocks change, 2.16. It was down 1.14. So that's not good. Fed interest rate decision, 3.25, and it is 3.25. So that came in at the exact number there, which is good. And then, of course, the interest rate hike is 0.75 basis points, or 75 basis points, 0.75 actually interest rate increase. So there was the expectation we could be raising it 1 full point, and then it could have crashed the market. They only raised it 0.75 and still crashed the market. But that may only be for today. Let's take an eye tomorrow. This could have been just an overreaction on the day. I think the way that Jerome Powell came out and was speaking during his press conference is what freaked a lot of people out, because like he's being very, very, very steadfast on stopping inflation. Inflation, they say, has peaked. It's starting to come back down, but in reality, he's not buying his own BS. They're going to keep locking it down. They're going to keep raising interest rates until they have it completely under control. Some trending news right now. Binance receives green light for crypto services in Dubai. UK authorities press on with crypto hub plans. US Federal Reserve hikes interest rates by 75 basis points. Cardano Vassal hard fork launches tomorrow. Here's what you need to know. Bitcoin bull Max Kaiser blasts Ethereum as a centralized Ponzi scheme as ETH supply increases post-merge. And I did want to let you know, like, speaking of that right there, specifically the centralized part of that, we talked about how yesterday Ethereum's nodes, the main nodes are owned by very, very, very rich people. And there's only a few of them. There's not as many as they would have to have hoped. So it's not really that decentralized in reality. Cardano surpasses BNB and Avalanche with 11.94 billion staked. Cardano's Vassal now 24 hours away. Hardware wallet Ledger announces support. So what's interesting with all of this total value locked, 11.9 billion, once the hard fork goes live, is that when people start taking profits? That's what I would be on the lookout for. Let's go take a look at what's going on in the Shiba Inu news today. Shiba Inu news, price prediction, Let's see here. SHIB burn paces spike 1,502%. Here's how much SHIB was removed. So the burning mechanism has been pumping extremely hard. Former U.S. congressional candidate publicly supports Doge and Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu forms a bearish structure. Here's how we can benefit.